All right, welcome to our live show. Brandi and I have a few awesome recipes and some amazing holiday products to show you guys today. Thank you to everyone who's able to join us live. And for those that are watching this on the replay, we appreciate you too. Tonight, I'm going to start out with doing up some caramel, and we'll do some more chit-chatting with you as we go through. But the caramel takes a little while in the blender, so I want to get it started. But the nice thing with the deluxe cooking blender is it's pretty much hands off. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make caramel at home, starting with some of my favorite measuring tools. Right. Blender ready. And this is glass, so it can cook and not stain. So I'm going to start with the measure all. This is amazing, guys. This works for solid foods, gooey foods on the one side, and then the other side works for liquids. So I love this if you're using like mayonnaise or honey. It's great for that because you can push all of it out. So I just added in a cup of brown sugar. Now I'm using the Easy Read measuring cup, which is great because I don't have to get down to eye level. Oop, I got to turn this so you can see a little bit. I don't have to get down to eye level here to use the Easy Read measuring cup because you can see the markings on it, the way that it's designed. You can see as you pour exactly where it's at. So I'm going to add in my half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Forgot to get my butter out. But that's okay, because this is the cooking blender, so it does not have to be softened beforehand. I'm going to add in half a stick of butter here. And then I'm going to use the adjustable measuring spoon. This is great. You can adjust it. I don't know how well you can see the markings on there. So you don't have to dirty multiple measuring spoons while you're cooking. So I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Maybe a little bit more. And 1.5 teaspoons of our vanilla. This is one of our holiday items. It's a double strength vanilla. It is one of the most delicious things on earth, I think. And I'm going to show you the other half of that adjustable measuring spoon. This is the larger one. It goes up to a tablespoon because I need 1.5 teaspoons of the vanilla. Is right. And then we are just gonna put the lid on a little bit now. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. And turn this on. We're gonna set it over to sauce. All of them over on this side are cooking levels, and we're just gonna hit start, and it's gonna go. Now save this one. And I'll mute myself while Brandi's talking because it's going to continue cooking and blending as it goes through the process here. As it heats up, it's going to reach a point that it's going to tell me to add ingredients. And at that point, we are going to add in another one of my favorite holiday flavors, and that is the cinnamon. This is like the same stuff that they use at Cinnabon. It is so much better than just getting a store-bought brand of cinnamon. I had no idea how amazing it was, and a little goes a long way. So we will add a little bit of this towards the end of the cooking on the caramel. But other than that, that is it. It cooks itself from there. And then we're going to have a great treat. And I'll show you the apple corer and slicer at the end when the caramel is done and show you how easy that is. But Brandi's got a few other holiday treats to show you guys tonight. So while this is blending up, she's going to show you a couple of these awesome kits. I'm so excited to do them with my kids. How about you, Brandi?
Yes, I have already, we've already dove into our kits. We couldn't wait. So yes, we have a few fun holiday things that we So we have the cinnamon that she showed you and the vanilla that kind of always that bring back every year. We have a cinnamon plus. So it has the cinnamon, it has some nutmeg, it has some other things in there too, which are great. And then we always have fun surprises that they bring out for the year, and we never know what they are. And this year, I am so excited about the ones that we have. So tonight, I'm going to show our hot chocolate box. So what they did is made a fun gift box that is ready to go. There is a label on the side that you can actually make it as like a gift box. But it comes so cute like this. And then when you open it up, oop, my marshmallow mix came out because I already made that. So it has homemade marshmallow mix. And then it has 4 different flavors of hot chocolate to try. So they have a sea salt and caramel, and all of these are the mix. So you just have to take a tablespoon of it and mix it in with your milk. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the best and easiest way to do that too. They have a gingerbread hot cocoa mix, the chocolate cherry, and then the original milk chocolate. So tonight I'm going to do the milk chocolate, just because I am actually not a caramel fan. So I've heard that is a popular one too. And then the homemade marshmallow mix. So I did this ahead of time because it takes a little process just to do it. And then that way I could show you guys when it's done. All you do is take the mix and mix it with water on the stove. You let it boil for a little bit. And then you put it into like our stand mixer we did. You could use a mixer, and then you just whip it for like 8 minutes. And it is so good, so easy. And then I used our Brilliance Ware. So the little 8x8 was perfect. And it gave us like kind of a little bit thicker squares of the marshmallows. But all I did was spray it with our kitchen spritzer, which was just a little bit of olive oil. And then I dusted powdered sugar inside the pan, and you let it set for like an hour just to get the marshmallows to set. And then I literally just dumped it upside down and they came out. So I just cut them up. They say they're good for up to like 3 weeks if you have them in some sort of an airtight container. So I just kept them in here, and these are large reusable. This is the large reusable bag. We have multiple sizes. These are one of my favorite things. I am all about not wasting and not having to buy plastic bags. And I have a ton of these for the kids' snacks, for, sandwiches. I use these when I'm like marinating stuff. This large one is perfect for that. But these are handy. So I just have the marshmallows in here. And then look at our another little fun holiday product. These are our mitten tongs. And these are the cutest things ever. I just think like they're gonna be so fun at the holidays to have like when you're entertaining. But if you look, this is how the marshmallows came out. And you can cut them however big you want. I have a couple small ones and then I had a couple big ones. And then another fun thing to do, well, here's a little bit bigger one. You can take these and get some of the little chocolate, rounds, whatever they're called, or even chocolate chips, but you can dip them in colored chocolate and put some sprinkles on there and make little gift bags out of them. I've seen cute little, like the cellophane bags that you can buy. You can put those in a little gift set. If you want to make them ahead of time, or you can just give somebody the whole box, which is so fun. So I have, by the way, I have triplets plus another kid. So we had a fun little hot cocoa night and they loved it. It was so fun to try out. We tried out a few of the different flavors. So far the milk chocolate, I think, has been our favorite, but other people I've heard really love the sea salt and caramel one.
I love
So,
the chocolate cherry. The chocolate cherry is my favorite. I have
oh,
not tried the milk chocolate yet. And I haven't tried the marshmallows yet. And somebody had asked me, do you think that they would work in like a Rice Krispie treat? Or are
oh.
they not quite the same consistency for that?
They might if I mean, I would assume it would melt down the same, but I don't know. It's kind of, I think they're better. My mother-in-law said she likes them better than like a regular marshmallow. They seem more real, real, if that makes sense. It's not like that fake marshmallowy. So I don't know, it might. That's interesting.
I might have to try that. I bought an extra marshmallow, so I got the hot cocoa kit and then I ordered an extra marshmallow.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. Be interesting to see. So the way that I have been doing our hot chocolate, and this I will probably never do it any other way now. Because most of the time, I know some people use water. I always prefer milk with my hot chocolate. It just makes it more creamy. But you put it in the microwave, and I'm always like, okay, another 30 seconds. Oh, another 30 seconds. And then I'm like, oh, that's too hot. It's scalding my tongue, and I gotta wait now. Um, I'm not kidding you. Our electric milk frother is the best. So if you guys haven't seen this, it's our electric milk frother, and it's not just for coffee. So we have 4 settings, if you can see the front. The first one is a high foam, and that's something that you could use for like your, I think it's macchiatos. Oh, yay, she's got hers. So you can use it for like macchiatos, cappuccino, I think. The next one is a low foam, which you would use for your like lattes and your like normal coffee shop style stuff. And then the next setting is what we're going to use, which is just a warming setting. So you can just warm your milk. And I'm not kidding you, it's the perfect temperature when you make hot chocolate. There's no like scalding your tongue, and it's not hot enough. It's perfect. I couldn't believe it. And then the next one is a cold foam. So there's tons of different frothers on the market, and ours can do all 4 settings in one, which is very rare. I don't know. I'm sure there probably is one out there, but it's not common to be able to do all of those settings. And I personally have never been an iced coffee or a cold brew coffee person. And then once we got the cold brew pitcher, I was like, well, I have to try it because it's Pampered Chef. I'm obsessed with it now. So I have my hot coffee in the morning with my frother, my high foam or low foam in there to make my latte. And then in the afternoon, when I have my second cup, I do the cold foam and my cold brew or iced coffee. And the cold foam is the best thing ever. I'm so spoiled. And it's so great though, because honestly, you're not spending the money at the coffee shop. They can be like $7, $8. There's the cold brew pitcher. It's the best. I'm not kidding you.
There it is. We empty it and then we brew another one because same thing. I've got to come home and I've got to have that cold brew.
Yeah. And my husband never drank coffee before. And then I got the cold brew pitcher and I'm like, just try it with the cold brew. It's not hot coffee. And now that's all he drinks. So it's literally crazy. And this frother, I'm telling you, is what I think it's like the icing on the cake. You have to have the frother to make it just the best. So we'll do the hot chocolate now. And I gotta get my milk out. I just realized that. And there are some lines on the inside that show you kind of a max fill. You're not gonna be able to see it. But it shows you like if you're just doing the froth settings, whether it's cold foam, high foam, low foam, you want less in there. If you're doing the warming feature, you can put more in there because you're not whipping it up to froth it. So you just fill it up to that line. And then with these mixes, it just takes a tablespoon. And then it's funny that she grabbed her adjustable measuring spoons and I grabbed just our regular measuring spoon set. These I love because they snap together. And then another thing is they're flat on the bottom. So as you can see that, you can set it down if you have your ingredients in there and it'll sit down nicely. But that's just the one that I grabbed. And then you just keep tapping the button until the one lights up that you want to use and you start it. And I'll move it over a little bit. While that's going, I'm going to show you because some people like marshmallows, some people like whipped cream in their hot chocolate. But I like both. And tonight I have to show you our whipped cream maker because we redesigned it. So if you know the older style one, It was just the regular whipped cream maker. You can make homemade whipped cream in less than a minute. This one, they added an awesome feature where it's also a decorator. So we can take the bottom off and put this fun decorating attachment on there. And you can actually pipe whipped cream into your hot chocolate, into any other kind of desserts that you want to do, which is super fun. So we're gonna make some whipped cream quick.
Hello to whoever just joined us.
Hello. So with the whipped cream maker, there is a max fill line. You want to make sure you pay attention to the max fill line, because if you overfill it, your whipped cream will explode and be all over the place, and it won't really turn into a good whipped cream because it's going to be too runny. So I'm going to do a little bit less. Okay.
And I know you couldn't hear this beep because you're doing that, but this just beeped at me to add. So I'm working on the caramel here. I'm just going to add, I don't need the vanilla again. I'm just gonna quick add in my half a teaspoon of this amazing cinnamon. This is only available during the holidays, this cinnamon. It is so good though. And I'm just gonna, sure, you can taste the rest of that, honey. Have at it. And I just put that in and then I hit go and it's just gonna finish up. So Brandi can get back to making her whipped cream and we'll continue getting our desserts ready.
Perfect. And so then you just fill that with the heavy whipping cream, and then you do about a tablespoon of powdered sugar. And then I personally like a little bit of vanilla in mine. I think it gives it just a little extra flavor. So I'm just gonna put a little dash in there. Just okay. And now I feel like it's a little full, so we're hoping we don't get it overflow. So then you just take your little plunger, put it in there. And there is a little button on top. You want it closed when you're plunging, open when you are decorating or piping. So we're gonna make sure that's closed. And then you can watch and see. Hopefully I didn't fill it too full, but. So you just take and go up and down. And by the way, my frother just stopped. So that's how quick it warms it and makes your hot chocolate.
And the mixer is also great for making whipped cream if you need a bigger batch, but when you're doing something like hot chocolate, especially when some people are doing the marshmallows.
Yep.
This makes it just as delicious, just a smaller batch.
Right. I use my mixer usually for all of our whipped cream because we eat so much of it. But yes, for something like hot chocolate, it's perfect. So, and then you can just take it off and check to see kind of what the consistency is. And if you need to do more, you can do more. And that's what I love about it is like, I just was like, okay, it's got to be getting close now. If you look, that is like perfect whipped cream. Oh, I'm trying to pull it up. So we have our whipped cream. Okay. Now, you gotta remember how to get this. Okay. I might want to do it a couple minutes. I'm going to do it a couple more times. I want to make sure it's nice and thick when we're whipping it. Okay. I just realized I might have only done a half a tablespoon of the milk chocolate. I was looking and I'm like, oh, that says a half a tablespoon, not a full tablespoon. Okay, so, oops, I wanted to do that. Trying to look at and do this at the same time. There we go. Oop, oop. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the hot chocolate in here. So good. And then our fun whipped cream maker, it's already piping out. You can just take it and go like this. Oh, and I forgot to take this out. That's part of the problem. Ooh, okay. And then you have your whipped cream on top. And you can sprinkle with whatever fun stuff you want. You can put one of the marshmallows in there on top of it too if you wanted. And then I'm going to show you another fun little holiday thing that we have, which I'm so excited about. Not only do we have our hot chocolate box, we have it's called Bake and Build box. Once again, it has a fun little tag on the side, so you can just gift it just like this if you wanted to. But this is so, like, I'm excited to do this too with the kids. This one I haven't dove into yet. So you open it up and they have a little placeholder for you. You can take this right off when you build your own gingerbread house. So this is what you can take off, and it says place it right here to start. It has everything you need. So they have the recipe card. They have how to assemble your gingerbread house. They have different decorating ideas all on here. And then it comes with gingerbread mix, which once again, if you haven't used any of our mixes, they try to make it literally as simple as possible so that you can't mess it up and so that it's good and it looks like you just spent all day baking. But this one you just use an egg, a little bit of butter, and water with the mix. And then we have the royal icing, which I have heard this is super good. You can use this for cookies also, like it doesn't have to just be on your gingerbread house. And then it comes with these silicone molds. So these are silicone, which is great because you can put your stuff in there, pop them out. They're very durable, easy to use. And then I'm just excited to try all of this. Another fun thing that we have seen with the gingerbread mix or with the gingerbread houses is you can take and melt like Jolly Ranchers. You can cook them in there instead of just using the gingerbread mix. And so it turns into almost like an opaque color. If you do use red Jolly Ranchers, it's a little bit see-through. And so you do your whole house out of that, and then you can put a little light in the middle so it kind of glows. It looks so cool. I've seen people use the little peppermint candies, like the red and white spiral ones, and melt those in there. And then it looks like a fun little like light up house if you put a little light in there, which is super cool. So those are just different ideas that you can use with it, which I love. You don't have to just do the gingerbread. We also have our peppermint mix. I love peppermint. That's what my coffee is all the time. It's peppermint mocha. So I'm obsessed. This is fun. This has all of the like peppermint flavor stuff that you need to make a fun dessert. And it has little directions on the back for 2 different ideas to do a peppermint dip or a peppermint pie. So for the dip, you would just use some cream cheese. For both of them, actually, it's just some cream cheese and then some heavy whipping cream with this. But think of it like you could use it with like graham crackers or like just so many different ideas that you can use to make the dip or the pie. But that is, I think, what I have for the holiday stuff, some of my favorites. And let me think here. So do you have anything else that I'm forgetting about the holiday stuff?
I have the caramel apple dip. We did this as a dip and we dipped our apples in it, but I think you could definitely use it like with graham crackers. There's a recipe on the back for making a pie out of it, using it as like a pie filling. And they just used this on the last Pampered Chef Live. They made an amazing caramel apple pizza using this dip mix. So if you missed out on the live show that they did on Tuesday, you can check out on Pampered Chef and get that replay, or ask your consultant for the replay of that one, because that pie looked amazing. But I think you would definitely, it'd be like for an event, because you don't want your apples to go brown. So I don't know when I would make it, but it looked amazing. And then this isn't necessarily a holiday item, because this will be available, I think, past the holidays, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Was this a limited time one too? We don't know.
I
But
think
this is delicious.
it was in the catalog.
It was in the catalog, but I
Yes.
think it said for a limited time.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what that means. But this holiday jam is amazing, whether you do it on toast, on a peanut butter and jelly, or if you use it making cookies, because they also have the shortbread cookie mix right now and the cookie cutters available, where you can make cookies and put this on the cookies, and that is absolutely amazing. So I
Yeah.
think my caramel is almost done. It's up to
I was gonna
100.
say a few things about the blender too, just
Yeah.
because I love the blender and I know you were just trying to get it started because it does take a bit. So like she said, it's a cooking blender. A lot of people just don't realize everything that it can do. And I didn't realize it, and I didn't have it for the longest time because I was like, I don't really need it. Well, then when I got pregnant with the triplets, I was like, okay, I need to make my own baby food because I don't want to, first of all, buy that much baby food. And like, there's just so much junk in stuff nowadays. So anyways, you can make your own baby food on the puree. Like you just throw your veggies in there or whatever you're making. And sometimes you need a little bit of water if it's a little bit thicker or starchier. But I didn't have to, like a lot of people, when they're making any kind of a puree or when they're doing stuff like that, you have to boil your stuff first to cook it, and then you transfer it to some sort of a blender. This does it all in one. So I could throw it all in there and walk away. And when it was done, I would put it in all of my jars to freeze and get ready. And then I would start my next batch. But you can make homemade jam. You can make the sauces. So there's the sauce setting that she's using. I just made Alfredo sauce in it last night. And like she's just been sitting here talking, and that's what I love is you don't have to babysit it. You can put your stuff in there and walk away for like most of the settings, but we do homemade peanut butter. I know that's what you just use for that. It is the best peanut butter you will probably ever have, and you only use peanuts. That's what like just blows my mind is people are like, that, what do you mean that's all you? I'm like, that's all that should be in peanut butter. But when you buy it from the store, they put all the extra junk in there. So I literally just have to say that this is probably one of my favorite products that aren't like that isn't talked about a ton because people, I don't think, understand everything that it can do. And then you can do your smoothies and your normal blending type of stuff, but there's just so many more settings that people don't realize. And it cleans itself. Let's just talk about that.
Yes, definitely. And I use it for the peanut butter too. And it's great because it only takes like 5 minutes to make the peanut butter. You can make jelly in it. It takes like a half an hour to make jelly. So I can have homemade peanut butter and jelly done in about 45 minutes if I include what the time it takes for it to wash itself in between the cycles. So in about 45 minutes, I can have fresh peanut butter and jelly for my family. So that's awesome. And I love making my own pasta sauce in it because I find I can sneak a whole bunch of vegetables into my family's pasta sauce without having all the extra stuff. So whatever extra vegetables I have in the fridge or whatever's on sale at the store, I've thrown in zucchinis and squashes and mushrooms and just about anything that you can imagine. Carrots. I've had some really funky colored sauces that turned out absolutely delicious. So those are probably my favorite things to do in the blender. But just like Brandi, this was not the first appliance that I bought from Pampered Chef. I didn't really understand what it meant to have a cooking blender, and I don't even know what video I saw or what that made me go, I can do that. But I think it was the peanut butter. Like I was just amazed when I went and looked and saw that there's sugar and added salt and added oils in my peanut butter that just kind of just blew my mind. Like it was that easy to make peanut butter. So I think it gets up to 205. We're at 201 now. I'm just going to kind of slide it back just so I can slide this over here. Turn this down just a little bit. So I just bought this. So you want to know how to tell if a product works as well as they show in the videos, you have your consultant do it for the very, very first time they ever use it on a live broadcast. So that is what I'm going to do today. I did wash it. I put the guard back on so you can see how the guard goes on the apple corer and slicer. But I'm going to use this for the very first time right now, and we're going to see if it's just as easy as everybody says it is. So I've got my apple ready to go. I'll line it up. Oh my God, that was so easy. And I learned a trick that if you're packing your apple for your kids, you can slide this back up very carefully. You keep the core in the middle. And if you're packing it up in your kids' lunch, you just wrap it back around the core, put a rubber band around it, and put it in a bag, and it will keep from getting brown until their lunch hour. So there's a simple snack idea for your kids. Our blender just ended. Don't touch this baby doll. It's very hot. Yes, you're going to get to have an apple. So I'm just going to get out a prep bowl that we're going to pour the caramel into. This is very hot. It gets up to 205 degrees. So you can see the steam coming off, yeah. It's very runny when you first make it, and then as it cools, it's going to thicken. Mmm.
That is good. I mean, a shape of an apple.
This is too hot to eat right now, but I also have to show you some peanut butter that I made up the other day. So with it being apple season, we need to know, are you team peanut butter or are you team caramel? And I think we already know Brandi's answer. That she's going to go with the peanut butter. That's usually my go-to for an apple.
My kiddos love peanut butter.
Yes, Jasmine loves peanut butter too. Do you want to dip an apple slice in the peanut butter?
No, you like, me want my finger to go in there and eat it.
You want your finger to go in there and eat it?
Another thing
So-
I will say about the apple slicer too is, so if you're not going to try to keep them together, one thing about ours that's different than a lot of them is as soon as you slice it, you can just pick up all of those wedges. For one, there's 10 wedges instead of, I think most are 6 or 8. So they're a little bit smaller, which is great for kids. But you can just pick them up, and it doesn't, like, if you've ever had an apple slicer that you are like pushing through just to get the rest of that little piece of that wedge through, and you're worried that you're going to cut your finger, because that's how my old one was, is I was like, why is this so hard? I'm like trying to get it through, and I'm like pulling it out. But ours, as soon as you slice it, you can just pick out all of the wedges, and they pop right out. As you saw when she picked that up, they just all kind of fell out. So that's one thing that I like about ours too. And I like that they're the smaller pieces because there's 10 different ones. But yeah, my kiddos are obsessed with peanut butter and apples now.
I just thought as long as we're on here, I'd get this ready to clean.
Oh yeah.
Because it's as easy as putting in 3 cups of water and a drop of soap, popping it on and setting it over to clean. And then it's gonna finish it up. Usually I'm eating dinner. Tonight we're gonna do dessert. But that's not a bad deal. Something like caramel or peanut butter, sometimes you have to go back through with the brush and just get the blades. But other than that, it does its thing. It's amazing. Does anybody have any questions about any of the products that we showed you guys today? And I agree. I'll take a little bit of caramel and a little bit of peanut butter. That's not a bad deal. All right, I'm gonna stop recording.
Yeah, if you guys have questions about, it doesn't